Hi, I'm Rayburn Johnson for Sample Library Review, and today I'm checking out Abbey Road 2 Iconic Strings by Spitfire Audio. Continuing with the Abbey Road sound, this time from Studio 2, Spitfire Audio have brought something completely new and yet fully recognizable to the table. Dry and crisp, the sound of Abbey Road 2 Iconic Strings is the string sound you've heard many times before, the exposed, in-your-face string quintet that many of us have come to know and love. Abbey Road 2 Iconic Strings comes housed in the Spitfire Audio proprietary engine. It's available in both a Core Edition, downloading at 46 GB, and a Professional Edition, downloading at 292.4 GB. Both editions contain the same ensemble and individual string patches and include both a modern and vintage mix, while the Professional Edition includes two additional mixes, an additional modern and an additional vintage, contains 8 microphone positions, and includes the Portamento Legato articulation. The Core Edition of Abbey Road 2 Iconic Strings is available from Spitfire Audio for $299, or you can purchase the Professional Edition for $499. At time of review, both editions are available for an introductory discount. The Core Edition is available for $249, while the Professional Edition is available for $399. So today I'm checking out Abbey Road 2 Iconic Strings by Spitfire Audio, and I was really excited to get my hands on this library. Honestly, I have been looking for a string quintet for literally years now, a virtual instrument string quintet. And I've went through all sorts of different solo strings and have, been happy with some of the solo strings that I've purchased, but I've never quite found that string quintet sound that is dry and crisp and in your face. But I think that's exactly what Spitfire have brought to the table with this release. Many of you are going to be familiar with Abbey Road Studios, but Abbey Road Studio 2 is the iconic string sound that many of us have come to know and love through songs like Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles, just really dry and crisp and in your face. And the great thing about this library, and of course you can watch all of the walkthroughs where Spitfire Audio goes through this in much more detail than I'm going to do today, but the great thing is not only are you getting the sound of world-class string players, but you're also getting that world-famous signal path through the same desk, the same vintage microphones, and even some modern microphones to really give you both that classic vintage sound that Abbey Road Studio 2 has become well known for, but then also a modern sound that's going to be a new take on a classic. And that's what you get with Abbey Road 2 Iconic Strings. Today we're going to be looking at the Professional Edition. There's 2 editions, both a Core and a Professional. The main difference between the Core and Professional Edition really comes in the mixes. So when we go to the mix here, you'll see that the Professional Edition, you have 2 mixes, 2 modern mixes, 2 vintage mixes, and then you also have 8 different microphone positions. The Core is only going to give you the 1 modern mix and the 1 vintage mix. And then the only articulation missing in all of this is when you get to the legato, the Portamento Legato transition is only available in the Professional. There is a legato, of course, in all of the Core. You get all of the different instruments, a legato articulation for those, and it's multiple types of legato. You just don't get the Portamento. So just something to keep in mind. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Right now, I've got the ensemble loaded up. As you can see, there's an ensemble patch that you can load with longs, shorts, and all in one. And then, of course, each individual instrument has that as well. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. I'm going to jump over to the articulations. And we've got the shorts, so let's just start with the I can never say this right. Spiccatissimo. All right, let's do it. Just so crisp and clean. Love that. All right, let's go to the spiccato. Beautiful, beautiful. I wish I could just play each of these for like 30 minutes for you because they just sound so freaking good. But obviously, we're going to try and get through a lot of material. So we're only going to be able to do a little bit of each one. But I want to play the shorts, and then I want to get into the microphone positions a little bit early on because I really feel like the shorts, you're really going to hear it on the shorts. It's a really good demonstration of what the difference between the mixes will be. Staccato. Lovely. Marcato. And pizzicato. All right, let's go into the microphone positions a little bit. First of all, the interface, as you can see, you've got your articulations here. You're probably already familiar with this if you've used one of the Spitfire proprietary libraries up until now. But if not, we'll go through it a little bit. You can see the different microphone mixes here. Right now, we're working with the Modern Mix 1, which is available in both the Core and the Professional Edition. We're going to look at the Vintage as well, which is also available in both. You've got your effects outlined here. So you've got compression, tightness, so that especially with your shorts, you can tighten those up if you would like. And we're going to go into this a little bit later. This is a really, really interesting and neat new feature that Spitfire has come up with. It's called the Arranger, and it actually allows you to be able to define exactly the range that each instrument's playing, which especially for a string quintet is important. Now, up until now, we've been playing in multi-voice mode, which is really, really cool. It's allowing the crossover. So, for instance, where the cello and the viola crossover, you're going to hear both of those at the same time. Well, if we take multi-voice off, we're literally just going to hear the individual instruments, and it's going to be a very strict string quintet. So let's go back through these and let you hear that. I mean, you can hear much drier, much cleaner because it's individual strings, right? It's 5 string players. I love this sound. I cannot tell you. I get giddy about this one. In my opinion, and I have been through a lot of string libraries. For me, and your mileage may vary, but for me, these are probably the best short strings I've ever heard. I mean, listen to this again. They're just perfect. Oh my goodness, spiccato. and staccato. And marcato. And pizzicato. All right, let's go through some of the mic positions. I'm going to turn mix 1 off. We're going to go into the vintage mix. So let's go ahead and turn that on, and you can see we're loading here. Now, I will say, Spitfire's proprietary engine, it can be a bit of a resource hog at times. So I would highly recommend, while we have the patches, like right now we're in the ensemble shorts, Spitfire does allow you to load and unload articulations. So I would recommend actually going through, personally, this is probably what I'll do, is actually create a separate patch for each individual short articulation, for instance. And so when you hit the edit button, you can actually unload articulations, and then you can save that. So you can save just a, staccato or a spiccato articulation if you would like. And I highly recommend that just because it's going to help you with the resources, especially if you're only going to be using one. Now, if you're going to use key switches, different story. But, if you're going to be using individual articulations, it's definitely the way to go. Okay, so let's go ahead, and we are on the vintage 1 mic position. So let's go back through these really quickly. All right, and just for a little fun, let's go ahead and let's load in some of the mic positions. So let's do the close vintage, and maybe the ambient mic, and how about the stereo ribbon? So let's give it a moment to load. And just for a point of reference, I do have this on an external SSD. And I have a lot of RAM, and I have a pretty powerful processor. So just to kind of give you an idea of what you can expect performance-wise. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to turn this down just a hair. Let's see what we have here. Going back to the Spicatissimo. And if we take the close mic down a little bit, maybe turn up the stereo ribbon and really turn up the ambient miking. So you can hear, I mean, the sounds that you can get here, especially in the professional edition, you have full control over the sound. You can get it as close and as clean and as crisp as you would like, or as far away and as distant as you can like. But to me, the real value here is the fact that you can get that close, just in your face, super dry sound of Abbey Road 2. So going back to that, for a point of reference, going to that vintage mic, this is that classic sound that you've come to know and love. All right, let's go ahead and move along. Let's load the long articulations for the ensemble and see what we have here. And again, just letting you see exactly how long it's taking to load. And the button here, as you can see, it's flashing. When it turns solid green is when we know that it's ready to go. And you can see that it took a little time to load there. So just, again, point of reference for you. So let's go ahead and start with the longs. Yeah, we'll start with mix 1. This is the more modern mix. And again, that comes in the core and the professional. You know what? I want to double check because I believe, oh, okay, we do have multi-voice off. Good. I just wanted to make sure because we'll do it with both. So again, this is with the multi-voice off, just the 5-string quintet sound. Okay, the long sol pont. Let's go ahead and turn the modern off, the first modern, and turn the second modern on. Again, this one's in the professional only. Just so gorgeous. All right, let's jump over to the long soltasto. And again, still on the modern mix 2. I was playing with 2 hands, so wasn't really able to move the expression control. So let's go ahead and, work with the expression and velocity control. Just so beautiful. Oh, so beautiful. All right, the trills, the major second. And the flautando, which, of course, Spitfire is very well known for. Now, there is one thing I noticed there. I'm not sure if you notice it too, but on the long flautando, some of the notes, especially in the bass clef below middle C, are a little bit inconsistent. I'm noticing like this is F1. Now we're just going to go up and you can hear a little bit of inconsistency. Check this out. You hear that? How you just hear a big transition from B flat to C. And from F to G. So a little bit of inconsistency there in the velocity. Sometimes that's kind of charming, but that particular, I just noticed it was a little bit more than what I would have expected. So let's go ahead and let's move on to the individual instruments. Let's start with violin 1. Why not? Let's go to the legato and let's load the legato in and see what we have. And again, you can see in the professional edition, you have 3 different kinds of legato: the performance legato, the slurred legato, and the portamento legato. The only one that you don't get in the core edition out of these 3 is the portamento, which you're probably already familiar with. That's kind of that. Well, let me just play it so you'll know what I mean. It's this. It's that, real pronounced slide All right, so let's do the performance legato. And the performance legato for Spitfire is kind of that all-in-one legato. So there's fast transitions, there's some slow transitions, there's some different attacks. So this is a really good all-around legato patch. Right, and let's do the legato slurred. All right, and the portamento. All right. So let's go ahead and go to the live patch. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Spitfire live patch, essentially the live patch is just kind of a really good sketching patch. It's kind of an all-in-one. There's some shorts, there's some longs. So if you're not really sure where to start and you're just trying to sketch something out, the live patches are really a great place to start. So let's go ahead and try that out. Forgive my playing there, friends. Improvisation is definitely not my strong suit. All right, so let's go to the violin longs. And again, this is violin 1. And you can see you do get some additional articulations that you don't get in the ensemble patches and that you don't get for every individual instrument. So, for instance, you can see the long harmonics. That's something that we haven't seen yet. The measured tremolo. And also, it looks like there's another measured tremolo. So you've got a 180 BPM and a 150 BPM, which is really nice because this allows you to, match your BPM even better because you can get it even closer. So that way you're not doing crazy time stretching on the original samples. So let's go ahead and let's go to the long harmonics. I'm a big harmonics fan and it's something we haven't heard yet. Very breathy. Very nice. All right, let's go to the long soltasto. Really, really nice. All right, in the interest of time, let's go ahead and move to the shorts. We'll go through a couple of these really quickly. The brushed is something we haven't seen, so let's do that. Okay, and we've already heard some of these, but let's go through one or two. Of course, we heard them in the ensemble patch, so not in the context of the individual instruments. Let's try that. All right, let's go ahead and go to Violin 2. Let's load that up. And let's go ahead and go to the legato on that. Let's see if we can hear a difference. All right. Let's go ahead and move to the viola. And I'm a big fan of the viola. I personally just love the viola. It just is, you love the cello, you love the violin, but the viola just sits there in the middle and just seems to carry this really nice mid-rangey area. Let's go ahead and do the spicatissimo. Now, I don't know if you've noticed yet, you probably have, especially if you're wearing headphones, but these are actually in the orchestral seating position. So these, they're already lined up for you. They're recorded and mixed in their original orchestral seating position. I personally love that. I do think it would have been nice to have some pan control, just because some people, would like to mix that up a little bit or would like to pan it not quite so hard. These are definitely panned hard left and hard right, or pretty hard left and right because of the orchestral seating position, right? But yeah, just something that would have been nice, I guess. All right, let's move along to the longs. And let's see what we have different here. So it looks like these are pretty much the same as what you get with the Violin 1 and 2. Same articulations, exactly. So let's go with the long soltasto. Let's start there. Really, really nice. Just so dry. And the great thing about this is not only are they dry, so you get that clean, crisp, clear sound, that really upfront and in your face sound. But the great thing about dry strings like this that are recorded so beautifully is the sky's the limit. You can do what you want to with your own reverb. You can put these right into any orchestral place, any room, any chamber, any hall that you want to put these into, because they're so dry that your reverb is not going to interfere with what's baked into these. But again, if you get the professional edition, that is the beauty here, because I'm telling you, these mics, I mean, they're just goodness. Like, just to give you an example, let's go with this close, and I'm going to do the stereo mid and the ambient. I'm going to turn those on. And I'm going to go to, let's just go, let's go with just the standard long articulation. Now, I am waiting for those to load up. Again, one of the things about this is probably for most users, the core is going to be more than enough. Just to have the two wonderfully mixed, you've got the first modern position, and you've got the first vintage position. And honestly, that's more than enough for most folks. But if you want full control and you have a pretty beefy computer, these extra mics are pretty incredible. Let me just play around with these and let you hear. So then if we want to take that ambient down a little bit, maybe turn the stereo mid up, and let's keep this close one at full strength, we get Just really, really beautiful. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Let's go to the flautando. And this time, we're going to take the close down some. Maybe let's do the close ribbon. And then we're going to turn this ambience really far up. So we're going to get the detail, but we're going to get just this lovely spacious sound as well. Now I am going to turn up the close because you can hear those are pretty quiet. Let's go ahead and turn that up some. Just really, really, really gorgeous. They're very, very fragile. That's Spitfire's flatandos. They're just really, really fragile and nice. All right, so let's move along to the cello. Let's go to the cello shorts first. And I'm going to go ahead and let's actually turn this one off. And so you can get a feel for the different things that you get in the core version. We're going to turn that vintage one on, which again is in the core and the professional. And let's do the spicatissimo. Now you could hear that's really, really hard panned, but again, one of the cool things is that you can go over, and of course this is in the ensemble. I don't believe they have it here. Do they? Nope. In the ensemble, you can actually turn that multi-voice mode on, and you can get even, a fuller sound that's not quite as hard panned as well. So just another way to mix up your sound. All right, let's move to the longs. And we're going ahead and loading that up. Let's look and make sure that we don't see any new articulations that we've not seen before. All right, same things here. So we're familiar with this. Let's go ahead and do a long here. I just love those longs. Gosh, they're so beautiful. Let's try the harmonics. Well, that's interesting. I guess it's because I'm on a pretty low BPM right now. I think I'm on like 90. So let's go with just the regular and see what the difference is. Oh yeah. So yeah, there's the difference. So you really, for the slower, you really need to be on there. And then as you speed up, you can go to the higher BPMs. All right, let's go ahead and move to the bass, the double bass. And then we're going to go back to the ensemble because I do want to show you that multi-voice mode. So let's go ahead with the bass and I'm going to do the long. Actually, you know what? We'll go back to the cello and do legato here in a moment too, because you probably do want to hear that. Really, really beautiful. I was playing multi-notes on those, but yeah, your single notes really do better on that double bass. That is nice. You know what? For fun, let's do the short notes on the bass. We'll start with the spicatissimo. And let's do staccato. All right, I want to go back to the cello. Sorry for going backwards, friends. Let's go back to the cello and go to that legato. Because who doesn't want a good cello legato, especially a solo cello legato? So we'll start with the performance legato. It's still loading, just going to take another moment. All right, here we go. And the legato slurred. Now, with multi-voice. I mean, you can just hear it's just fuller, richer, And just, it goes instantly from being a string quintet to being chamber strings, which is really, really cool. Just extends the usefulness again. And on the spiccato, and if we go back to the string quintet, so you can hear, just so useful. There is just so much to love about this library. I love Spitfire. I have multiple Spitfire libraries. I love what they do. This library I have gotten probably more excited about than any library they've released probably since the BBC Symphony Orchestra. This, to me, of all of the Spitfire libraries that I've purchased and that I've listened to and watched demos for, this is the one that I've been waiting for. This is the one that I have continually wished I could find that sound, that dry sound that didn't sound fake. So many times a dry string library sounds synthesized. The longs sound like a pad. The shorts sound like just a synth. These are just freaking gorgeous. The shorts in this library alone are just these are probably the best shorts I've ever heard in any string library, period. But then the longs, the ensemble patches, the multi-voice mode, it just really adds to the usefulness and just what you can do with this library. Again, you can take it from that really dry and crisp sound to, with multi-voice mode, a more of a chamber string sound, which is just really, really cool. And again, you might be debating, should I get the core? Should I get the professional? The core is probably going to be what most people would want and need, unless you're going to use a lot of microphone positions. I personally don't think that the portamento legato transition by itself is worth the difference in price. These microphones are pretty awesome. They really do add to being able to tailor your sound to exactly what you want it to sound like. But again, is it worth the price? I don't know. I really think that this Modern Mix 1 and this Vintage Mix 1 are probably enough for the majority of people. I really do like having the extra mics, but again, that probably is going to be enough for most people. Definitely check this library out. Watch the developer walkthroughs. Listen to the demos. This is a library to get excited about. A few things I didn't cover, just to mention, you do have multiple reverbs that you can choose from, so that's something to keep in mind. Your close vintage signals, you can actually control the stereo width on those. Again, you've got your effects. You can put key switches here. You don't immediately see them, but just with all of the different Spitfire libraries and their proprietary engine, just like those, you can move your key switches around and control those. You've got your round robins for your shorts that you can control the number of. You can even control the bowing pattern. Do you want to go down once and then up? You're going to go down twice and then up twice. So much control. I'm going to shut up now. Abbey Road 2 Iconic Strings, my favorite new string library. I highly recommend it. Thanks for checking out Abbey Road 2 Iconic Strings with me today. So what's your opinion? Are you a fan of the crisp and dry sound of this library? Are you going to pick up the core or professional edition? Comment below and let us know your thoughts. Please like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure to check out SampleLibraryReview.com for more news and reviews and to stay in the know about weekly sales via our weekly deal compressor.